Two of the most common comparisons of strength when it comes to anime is between Son Goku, the Saiyan raised on Earth with the power of gods, or Saitama, a literal human with seemingly infinite potential. Someone who has the ability to take a majority of his opponents out with a single blow. In today's video, we're going to be putting these two head-to-head in a death match, comparing their feats, strengths, weaknesses, advantages, and disadvantages alike. With that said, let's start off by discussing Dragon Ball's hero, Goku. The thing that immediately separates Goku from Saitama as a character is his journey. Goku started out with a low power level of 2 with nothing really too impressive backing him up, but throughout early Dragon Ball he gets stronger and stronger through his experiences. We see a glimpse of his quick learning capabilities early on where he mimics the Kamehameha, a technique that took Master Roshi decades to learn and master. But Goku was able to do it in mere seconds. He trains in the art of martial arts for years, participates in various world tournaments, fights fighters with opposing martial arts philosophies, and fighters that outclass him in strength by a wide margin. Goku overcomes those differences through his creative thinking in battle and his ability to use his techniques in various different ways. A quick and quite simple example of that is his use of the Kamehameha through his speed in the battle against King Piccolo. He's able to close wide gaps in power by pushing his techniques to their limits, like the Kaioken against Frieza. One of Goku's most valuable assets as a Saiyan is his rage. Saiyans are capable of receiving immense boosts in power from their rage. The most prominent example of that is his son, Gohan, who achieves the most ridiculous power boost throughout the series based on his rage, like the one against Perfect Cell, or recently being able to close a rather severe gap in power between him and Goku in his fight against Cell Max. Back to Goku though, his rageful moments can't be looked down upon either. He was able to close the gap between him and Frieza through the rage he received from Krillin's death and unlocking the Super Saiyan form. Another good example of his rage is the fight between him, Goku Black, and Zamasu. Pinned against the wall, Goku received an immense rage boost which allowed him to best his opponents for a while. In comparison to Saitama, Goku has far more abilities. Many of those are simple but have shown to give him an advantage in his fights. Key manipulation, firing huge blasts or even small ones. He can cause immense damage with these, and Saitama doesn't even have anything similar resembling that. He has the ability to fly and teleport, which are just adding on to his fighting advantages. Goku's ability to adapt to his opponents and getting stronger as he fights will help him severely, and if he takes any severe damage that he manages to heal from, that would also give him a Zenkai, further boosting his power. Like previously mentioned, his enhanced sense of combat or his battle IQ is far greater than Saitama's. His experience and the various teachers he's learned from, like Master Roshi, like the God of Earth, and hell, even an angel. But his abilities aren't his only strength. Goku has some crazy feats to go along with that. One of the most prominent feats of him come from the battle between him and Beerus, who is a god of destruction. This fight threatens the existence of the Universe 7 macrocosm, as stated by the Kais, who are terrified just watching Goku and Beerus, who were shaking the universe during their fight at the collision of their fists. In just Super Saiyan God, Goku was taking punches from a being capable of easily destroying universes. Not only that, but those punches themselves wielded power that was capable of destroying the universe. Goku's Ultra Instinct Omen power was shaking the world of Void, which is described as a world without time or space, filled with infinite nothingness. His transformations in strength following the fight with Beerus also get kind of crazy, with him getting thousands of times stronger, unlocking Super Saiyan Blue, being stronger than a fused version of him and Vegeta in Super Saiyan Blue just in his base form by the next arc as a result of power creep. That power is then amplified by God Ki, Super Saiyan Blue stacking Kaioken on top of that by up to 20 times, getting the technique of the God's Ultra Instinct, and getting a more perfected version of that in the short span of an hour. With his strengths discussed though, let's dive into his weaknesses. Goku is prone to basically any and all attacks when he's caught off guard. This was shown by Krillin throwing a rock at him while he was in Super Saiyan Grade 4 and it actually hurting him because he was caught off guard, and that caused his durability to be extremely low. He was also caught off guard by a beam from a very weak foot soldier of Frieza because he was distracted even though he was in Super Saiyan Blue. His character attributes don't help that much either, as he's very easygoing and holds out much of his power at the start in order to prioritize fun over his victory in battle. Even after Frieza killed Krillin, Goku let him power up as Frieza provoked him through the promise of a better fight. Even though he was in a state of anger and wanted revenge, Frieza had powered up 3 times prior to that, each time presenting a newer threat. Being allowed to do it again could have completely backfired. But you can argue against that one, although this behavior from Goku isn't uncommon. Goku doesn't go all out against Majin Vegeta so that they could have a better fight, or just so that he could be on a playing field with Vegeta so that it's not unfair, which obviously later leads to Majin Buu being awoken. Not only that, but Goku acknowledges that he could have defeated Majin Buu when he fought in Super Saiyan 3, but chose not to do so. He wanted to let the next generation take charge, but this ultimately led to Buu getting much stronger later and blowing up the earth. Not just that, this happens again and again in the Buu saga, where both Goku and Vegeta destroy the Potara to fight Kid Buu one-on-one right after he destroys Earth. Now let's move on and take a look at the One Punch Man, Saitama. Saitama was originally an ordinary human, someone with hair actually, which might be surprising for people who haven't watched or read One Punch Man. He wanted to be a hero, and so he started training with his iconic routine of 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and a 10-kilometer run every day for 3 years. I actually have a video out where Saitama's training works in Dragon Ball and Goku does it, so make sure to go check that out. After those 3 years, Saitama had achieved unimaginable strength. Nobody came close to his level, and he was always capable of one-punching every villain in the show. Because of this, Saitama had developed depression and had a lack of happiness since he was too strong for basically everybody. But one day, to his own surprise, a giant alien ship captained by Boros came to Earth. Boros and Saitama were quite similar in the sense that they were both too strong and they were both kind of bored. Boros comes to Earth exclusively to fight someone that could pose a threat to him, and there he was, the story's protagonist, Saitama. They faced off, and long story short, Saitama could not one-shot Boros until he got serious. He unleashed his serious punch on Boros, killed him, and this punch had split the clouds of Earth. This was a very impressive feat for someone that was an ordinary human just 3 years prior. Time had passed and nothing special of note happened, and by this I mean any feats or upscales, because he simply didn't have much to offer other than pure strength. He's a wonky fighter and he doesn't really have any abilities in comparison to Goku. He's kinda just a pure strength character. After Garou fell for God's trap and became Cosmic Armor Garou, he faced the heroes and ultimately killed all of them because of the radiation emitting from him. He ripped out Genos' core, Genos being Saitama's disciple and probably the only person Saitama had any feelings or care for. This enraged Saitama and brought out his maximum, proving to us that Saitama indeed has a limit to his strength, defeating the common misconception that he has an infinite amount of it. Saitama fought Garou and they would both clash at each other, but if this clash happened on Earth, it would have simply destroyed everything, so the number one hero, Blast, came in and used his dimensional powers alongside the help of other unintroduced people. They teleported Saitama and Garou to outer space, where their clash resulted in the destruction of thousands of stars. Saitama and Garou's fight was relatively even, as Garou had the ability to copy anyone's strength and their special abilities, but since Saitama had no abilities, he simply copied his strength. It was also noted that Saitama's strength grew as he fought Garou. He had a natural rate of growth which was unnoticed before, since it wasn't anything special, but now it started to soar, due to an uproar of emotions he had, and it was unlike anything he had experienced prior to it. This was because Genos died, similar to rage boosts in Dragon Ball when a loved one gets hurt. Saitama's rate of growth was faster than Garou's, and this left Garou in the dust. Skipping a bit of dialogue between the two, Garou taught Saitama how to literally time travel. Note that Garou could not time travel himself either. He was simply showing Saitama the basis of it, and Saitama managed to finish it with just one try, and he successfully travels back in time. What this means for him is that he can learn techniques really quickly if he's smart enough to learn them, that is. I guess in a way Saitama can use Goku's techniques, but that will not be enough to overcome the gap in their strength. It's also important to note that when Saitama did travel back in time, he first instantly one-shot the Garou from the past, and after that, since there were two Saitamas existing in the timeline, they both merged and Saitama forgot everything that happened, meaning his time travel wouldn't let him keep his previous memories from the future. Basically, Saitama is capable of learning techniques at an extremely quickly rate compared to Goku even, since Goku copied the Kamehameha and mastered it in minutes when it took Roshi decades, but that won't be enough to overcome their gap in strength. With that said, it's been noted and proven in both the Goku and Saitama sections of this video that Goku is just much more physically stronger and faster than Saitama, and he has a lot more in his arsenal when it comes to techniques and power-ups than him. His feats surpass him, and he's gone through a much higher amount of power progression in his story than Saitama has. It only makes sense that he takes the win, although that's not to undermine Saitama at all, as things tend to change with power progression exponentially increasing between arcs. With that said, what do you think? Make sure to like and subscribe and check out this video next to continue your good day on YouTube.